2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth round of the EEWC here in Interlagos. First hour done, 11 to go, and Callum Wilson in the Glam Racing 404 is right on the heels of Alexander Sesha in the Azatec Audi. Well, we did hear rumour that these two were going to be very closely fought. They both stopped for a similar length of time, and now they were right with one another. They were about 7-ish seconds apart before the pit stops. And now Karl Liekkegaard in the DSI Gadget, who's at Corvette, now leads the GT3 but has not pitted yet, so he will need to come in fairly soon. As the GT3, he's not requested to stop in fairness, so how long he's going to go on for is remaining to be seen. Scott Rod is built up 5 seconds from Robert Pound. That's an LMP2 battle we were looking at before the commercial break. Has very much gone the way of Burst. Bearing in mind that Burst did take, or we believe they took tyres out last time around. Now Liekkegaard has requested a pit stop, so he'll be in next time around. There is Callum Wilson staring at the back of Alex Zesha, with whom he was fighting, of course, for second in the GT3s. Now, as for our GTE contingents, there's no one particularly close at the moment. And that early pit stop from Michael Peterson hasn't really sorted their issues out. They're still at the tail end of the field. There is Zescher. So he's no doubt well aware of the fact that he's got Callum Wilson breathing down his neck. Let's see. Now, we won't know what their lap times were because I think this is the full complete lap. First full complete lap, I think. Let's see. Lap times 31.3 for Zescher, 31.1 team best for Callum Wilson there, and class best as well. No, not quite. No, that still belongs to Zescher in the Azatec car. But he was a couple of tenths quicker than the Azatec car last time around, so Callum Wilson starting to press on a bit and wanting to challenge for the GT3 lead. That's a great fight. We've got Battle of the Audis. In fairness, the GIS car and Carl Liekegard in the Gadget car are very close together, but that's not really going to amount to anything as Carl Liekegard are going to be coming in. There's the Glam Racing crew. Henri Koya, Callum, of course, Jakub Kowalski. We did see Lee Russell briefly in qualifying as well. We didn't see Jeff Van Halen. That's a long way past your marks. And what on earth is that pit stop in the background? What kind of parking is that, Mitchy Hoyer? Mitchy is one for giving us entertainment. Like I say, he was the one that came in backwards burning after the end of qualifying 1 yesterday. And now he's made his pit crew go completely off the marks. It does look like Zescher now is starting to pick up the pace in the Azatec car. As Carl Liekegard has brought the Corvette in. He should lose the lead unless he has a very short stop. No, he hasn't got moving, and the two Audis are now coming down the start-finish straight. 30.8, so a new class best then for the Azatec car. 130.834, a 31.581 for Callum Wilson. So that gap suddenly opened up to 2.1 seconds as they came down the Senna S's with the Juices car in between them. So Robert Pound is now right in the midst of the two. But and there we go. So he's found his way on the inside line of the Azatec Audi. Keeping an eye as well, if any of our team members are watching, if they want to come and have a chat to us, they are more than welcome to do so. We won't just randomly drag them out of their team rooms. That would be a little bit awkward. So the 777 has changed hands, I'm being told. Yes, it is Matthias Harvig, the man with the... he's updated his hat. Oh, that's brilliant. So not only is he being very patriotic to the glory of Denmark, but he's supported. Look at that. Although the frog picture, yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to indicate there. But excellent. Well, that we are indeed GTR 24H. I can assure you, none of us are sat on the load right now. Well, I'm certainly not. Well, maybe yeah, give us. You concentrate on the racing, but we appreciate you waving at us, Matthias. Magnatak. So thank you very much, Matthias Harvig, for giving me something to smile about. There's Callum Wilson, still trying to stay in touch with Alexander Zescher. So two of the fastest drivers of those teams. And that's what 3 seconds looks like in these Audis. About 2.7 seconds by the time they hit the braking zone for the Desida de Lago. And Matthias finds himself about 33 seconds behind this particular pair. So the Corvette, again, not well suited to the twists and turns of Interlagos. They're a bit more comfortable in the likes of Sebring and Monza, where it's got enough space to get the horses galloping. Whereas the Audis and the Porsches do enjoy the twists and turns and undulations of Interlagos. That's the 7.9 axle car coming past. Is it still Mr. Aslan? Yes, it is. That car hasn't changed hands. Mitchy Hoyer's handed the car over, I see. So Mitchy is no longer in the driver's seat. Jesper Pedersen now has the number 18 car. There is Nikib Aslan. He finds himself about 12 seconds behind Peter Vagapov in the now leading, or now class leading 17 Unison car. As we just saw the Azatec car come in there. So Alex Zescher or it looked like he was coming into the pits, or he was just getting out of the way of Nicky Buxton. Oh no, he wasn't coming into the pits, he was just getting out of the way. The car coming out of the pits now should be, or he's still saying he's pit out, but I think it's actually an outlap with Matthias Harvick. We know he's on track in the 777 Gadget Critic car. There's Callum Wilson once again. And that gap has increased, as you can see, about 0.8 of a second lap time difference between the two Audis last time around. Oh, weather forecast. Has anyone got any rain in Brazil? Well, not right now at least. Not a lot to worry about there. Well, that tiny patch of rain in the northwest of that particular image is still kind of looming, but I think that would take some quite drastic weather changes for that to affect what we are doing, as Callum Wilson gets a little squiggly coming out of Laranjina and towards the essay, but keeps it on the black stuff nonetheless. So let's see, who else is pitted? Has Peter Vagabond pitted? Yes, I think he may have done, or he's made mistakes. No, yeah, must have done. Yeah, Peter Vagapov in the Unison car has pitted. So now the LMP2s are 1, 2 and 3 at the front of the race ahead of the two DPIs. Speaking of DPIs, there is Jesper. In something a little bit quicker than what he has mounted at the wall there. So leading the way in the DPI class, that was a 20.4 last time around for Jesper. So straight onto the pace that Michi Hoyer put down. And again, very, very difficult man to match pace with is Michi Hoyer. Unbelievably quick. So Jesper doing the best he can to keep the lead for the number 18 car. Well, I mean, they have it's about a minute's difference between themselves and Unison at the moment, so they don't have to push too hard to maintain the DPI lead. But they do have a bit of a battle with their LMP2 brethren, as he just works his way past Angel Benegas in the MCM Motorsport number 27 without too much fuss. And back up the hill for Jesper, up towards the Bico once again. No one immediately ahead of him, so this is just all down to concentration and rhythm. This circuit very much needs a rhythm to get into and do well at. So once you've established that rhythm, you can then be suddenly snapped out of it. So you know that can cause trouble if you're not expecting to have that rhythm broken. But that is the team ready to do battle in the number 18 car. Of course, we saw Michi Hoyer earlier on. We've got Jesper Pedersen in the car right now. So those are the four drivers that are ready to do battle. We didn't really see anybody other than Jesper and Michi. Well, we didn't see anyone at all other than Jesper and Michi during the qualifying sessions. So they know the car the best out of the four. Again, we don't know who is going to drive the car. They don't have to necessarily use all of their registered drivers every single race. That's just who is registered to take part, so they can take part in any given race. They couldn't pull in somebody that isn't registered for that car. Is basically that. They couldn't borrow a driver from the LMP2 contingent, for instance. Whoops! As Jesper gets a bit squiggly getting behind. That's the number 53, the Musto Pescara car. Ricardo Perez still in control of that Porsche. Now finds himself about 10 seconds behind Maki Galpi in the Deuces car. There's Callum Wilson again in the Glam Racing 404. That gap was extended to about 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds between the two Audis. So the pace advantage still very much sitting with Alex Escher. But of course, as we've just been talking about team drivers, we don't know whether, you know, we get an idea on who the fastest drivers are, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're fastest here in Interlagos. So, you know, different drivers may have different skills for different circuits. As we look at Ricardo Pera in the fourth place Porsche, as we said, he's got around about between 10 and 11 seconds to close down if he wanted to get involved in the battle for third. That is the 5 drivers currently registered to take part with the 53 car. And Ricardo Perez had that car since the beginning. Continues on his merry way. Now, he didn't qualify the car, so we've got a bit less track time with the vehicle in whatever setup that they're running than certain other drivers. We'll see how he's able to do as the race goes on. Who else can we have a look at? So the battles we were enjoying earlier on have dissipated a little bit, unfortunately, but that's the nature of the beast. Does not mean that we will not enjoy some more racing from them later on with more driver changes to look forward to. There's Marky Yelpy again. Third now in the GTEs. Around about 8.5 seconds behind Max Bidovic. Oh, we got someone to chat to, I wonder. We do. We have got someone that's willing to have a chat to us. None other. It's the good man that had a chat to us yesterday. Tom Olmendinger, can you hear us? Okay, so
hello?
I think you can hear us, but we can't necessarily hear you. Tom, come in.
Yes, you should be able to hear me now.
Yes, we can. Hello, Tom.
Hi.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come and have a chat to us. Why do you have a rain mac on? What?
Well, it's all part of our race preparation. It's Brazil, so you can expect rain. So I thought, let's wear this.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping you're not having rain in your home, because we're certainly not having any trackside at the moment. Loving the GTR 24H emblem in the background. Thank you very much for that. So how's the race going for you guys so far?
It's really, really tight. We kind of expected this, but it's very much about track position. So basically we decided to go for single stinting the softs and use the pure pace, because that on paper is faster. And Deuces opted for the double medium, which is slower, but as you could see, well, they were able to defend for a long time. So we got ahead, but we need to make sure we pull a gap. And then there's also Sam 9, who I think, if I saw correctly, did a single medium stint, which is apparently another way to go. So yeah, currently we're looking at what the best way to go is to at least well, preferably hold track position, and then see if we can put a bit of a gap and be safe as the hours progress.
So when are you taking over the number 94?
So I'm currently testing how warm this raincoat is. But initially it should be Cameron who takes over from Damien, and then afterwards it's time for me to well, try and be fast.
So when will Damien give the car over? So I can see Cameron is ready and raring to go. So how long will Damien be in control for?
Looking at the time, it shouldn't be too long before his pit stop. Yeah, so I guess in a couple of laps time you'll see him coming to the pits, and then you'll see Cameron at the steering wheel.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll hopefully have a chance to chat to you or more members of the 94 crew a little bit later on. Thank you very much. Hopefully you don't need to test the raincoat out to its full extent. Otherwise you would have a bit of a problem, I dare say. Maybe you'll play us a tune with one of your lovely guitars in the background as well. But either way, best of luck. You're obviously doing well, leading the race overall, let alone just in class. We look forward to having a chat with you later on. Thank you very much. Tom Olmendinger. Excellent stuff. The raincoat was definitely a bit of a surprise to me. Robert Pound, he's decided to bring the car in. So yeah, this rather backs up what we were thinking earlier on with the tyre strategy difference. So that's why or part of the reason why the 94 has been so quick, and now the Deuces car has had a 53-second stop. So that's been a tyre change on their car. It's interesting to see as well that he mentioned the Sem 9 that Niki Aslan has gone for a very different strategy choice to the rest of them, and the 94 car is actually in whilst we've been talking. Damien Scott has brought the LMP2 car into the pit lane then. So we'll see what they choose to do, as Naqib Aslan actually takes over the LMP2 lead at the moment. The 15 car has now changed hands. Janssen Bintz has taken over the Deuces car, the Deuces LMP car. So more driver changes going on as we approach the bottom of the hour. Naqib still just kind of plodding on. Now it does the number 94 car change hands. Now, again, I can see in production that Cameron Roger is ready to go. He's fully in his Burst Esports livery, as in his t-shirt. So he's already and raring to go. And yes, he does. So Cameron Roger is now in the car. Damon Scott Run has decided to share the toys and is now out of the car. That's I'm fairly sure we didn't see Cameron during qualifying. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. 1:20.341 is the fastest time that car has set so far. The fastest class lap still actually belongs to the car we're looking at, Nakib Aslan, in the Sem 9 Axle car. So there's definite pace out there as he now very squiggly brings that car into the pits. Could he have left that any later? I shouldn't think so. And bang on his marks, and a stop now in place. Does he hand that car over? We don't know. Now, in the car for about 53 seconds seems to be the length of time they need to do the stop and change the tyres in the same breath. There is Cameron Roger in the number 94 car, just getting past the Juice's GTE car, which is still in the hands of Maki Yapi. Again, still rather lonely, about 11 and a bit seconds behind Max Brinovic in the 717 Unison BMW. Does Nakib hand that car over? It's still stationary. Doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So that looks like it could be a tyre change for them, as now the DPIs have got back up into the top spot. Jesper Pedersen has not long stopped actually in the number 18 car. I think that, yeah, Nakib Aslan is still in control of the car. So now the Sem 9 Axel car back underway after a new set of tyres for them. There's Jansen Bintz just dancing around the outside of the ID Simsport car. Michael Pedersen still in control of the number 166 car. We'll see how Jansen is able to wrestle the car forwards. As we are approaching, as I say, the bottom of the hour, so 1.5 hours now done. Or shortly to be done, I should say. Here's Nakib. Just such a face of concentration. Again, I've mentioned before that I have a huge amount of respect for endurance drivers. I could not maintain how quickly, how quickly they drive for as long as they do. Race control to give car number 21 a drive-through penalty outside the white lights. That's Nakib Aslan again. So. Oh dear, he hasn't learnt. He's now just caused a drive-through penalty to be issued to the Sem 9 Axel car. That's really going to hinder their charge towards their fellow LP2s. Because they were within about 10 seconds, give or take, of the Juice's car. So they've actually whipped that gap even further down. But sadly, that drive-through penalty is going to drop them quite some distance back. They do have a couple of laps to serve that. And there we go, it's now been officially issued. So drive-through penalty given to car number 21. And that brings us to the bottom of another hour. So we will, in traditional form, we will have a word with our corporate sponsors.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Simsports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. diving into movies you love, shopping, enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the digital snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry, NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth round of the EEWC in Interlagos. We still have Jesper Pedersen for Burst in control of the DPIs, and Cameron Roger now for Burst in control of the number 94 car, leads the LMP2s. The DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche is now at the top of the tree, or has been at the top of the tree for a little while now in the GTEs. And GT3s is still being led by the Azatec 585 car, currently being piloted by Alexander Sesha. We are looking at the 7-9 Axel car, Naki Baslan, who's not long taken a drive-through penalty. Costs around about 10 seconds at Interlagos. It's not a huge loss compared to certain other tracks. So, yeah, if you were doing that at Spa or, let me think, Silverstone's not as bad. Monza would be a little bit painful, but I think Spa in particular would be horrendously bad if you had a drive-through penalty there. But Interlagos is a bit shorter just because of where the pit lane kind of filters back out on track, and you're coming straight off the racing line, which in itself can be a bit of a worry, but it hasn't caused any issues so far. This has confused me on when people are coming into the pits or not. There's Callum Wilson on the main picture there. He's 5.5 seconds behind Michael Zescher. Was slightly quicker than him last time around. I think we're in the kind of management phase where, judging by the lap times, they've had quicker laps than this before. The GT3 class lead lap still belongs to Zescher in the 585 car with a 130.834. And the best of Callum Wilson being 131.143. Last time around, last time around, Zescher was actually a couple of cents quicker. I thought that was the other way around. My mistake. So, class fastest lap for GTE is now in the 29s. That is the DIS car in the number 45 Porsche. There's a 29.954 on the board. The only GTE to manage that thus far. LMP2 fastest lap is in the hands still of 7-9 Axel, who now find themselves just under 20 seconds behind the Deuces car. So they're still actually, Naki Baslan despite the fact that he's now had that drive-through penalty, he's still one of the quickest consistently LMP2 cars out there, and they were 5/10 quicker than Jansen Bitts and 6/10 quicker than Cameron Roger. So Naki Baslan is doing a great job out there. Just needs to keep all four wheels on the black stuff. Now DPI's the fastest lap is not as big a gap as you might think. Jesper Pedersen now in control of the 18 car. Mitchy Hoyer started the burst DPI car with they've got 1:19.763. There's only 2/10 difference between themselves and Peter Vagapov still in control of the number 17 Unison Racing DPI. Who should we have a look at? We are looking currently at the Deuces car. Who's got that? That's still Juha Mäki-Jalpi, who started the number 74 car. And he now is about 25 seconds behind the DIS Sim Racing Porsche. So that's a mixture of kind of pit stops. There's probably a mistake or two in there that explains that particular gap. But everyone's still pressing on. Now there comes that looked like the ID Sport car coming out of the pits there. I hadn't spotted that Michael Pedersen had brought the 166 car in. So it's been a struggle for them. The 717 car has changed hands. So that is no longer that is now in the hands of Nikolai Bezhikov. We saw him qualify the 717 car in I think it was the daylight session that he did that. So the BMW now in the hands of Nikolai. As at the blinding pace we saw from the 717 earlier on. And we'll see if they're able to see if he's able to match that earlier pace. So it's about 53 seconds if they have a full service, or between 53 and 56, somewhere in that kind of region. If they have all the fuel and the tyres done, you can get it done in around 40 or so if you keep the tyres on there as well. But of course the GT cars have much bigger tanks than the LMP cars, or the LMP and DPI cars. So that's why you'll see the LMPs and DPIs in the pits more often than the GTs. But you'll also have that's why, because the GTs will hold, it's around 120 litres you can get in a GTE tank, around 100 litres ish for the GT3s. I think it's around about 60 or 70 for the LMPs and DPIs, there or thereabouts. Riding on board then with Bezhikov in the 717. He's just coming to complete another lap. Let's see what his lap time is. 31.427. So it's a little bit off the raw best, but again, sometimes that's slipstream aided. The car's probably going to be quite heavy at this stage because it's not long been refueled. So that's why you would see kind of longer lap times at this point. Who else can we look at? Some of our LMPs and DPIs have been through the pits again. Our DPIs are back up to the top of the tree. With, as I said, Jesper Pedersen in control of the number 18. The gap between our lead LMPs has come down. So Cameron Roger last time around was a 23.173, and Jansen Bintz a 21.271. So my goodness me, that gap between Deuces and Burst is really coming down to Sem 9, Naqib Aslan. Let's see what he manages to do. He's about 20 seconds further down the road at 20.8. So we are looking like we're going to have a battle for the top LMPs very soon. A very brief yellow flag there. I think it was Ricardo Pera in the number 53 car, but oh, no, there it is again. So I think Ricardo Pera has just maybe wandered off the road a little bit. Had a bit of a moment. It caused a very brief yellow flag. Nothing too more drastic than that. As we're continuing to ride on board with Nikolai Bezhikov. Now he is closing in on Callum Wilson. There is the 404 Glam Racing Audi being honed in by the BMW. Oh, yellow flag again for Ricardo Perez. So, and now that is one that he has caused him to stop. So that is in around, I said, judging by the tracker, that is somewhere around the Bico de Pato, I think. What has happened to him? So here is the 53 car. We'll have the replay come up shortly. That's Callum Wilson. Is it a disconnect? Have we lost our first competitor? Because now that car is in the garage. And let's have a look at what happened to the Porsche. So that's the MCM car ahead of him. Right. Oh, it's the ID Cinsport car, big pardon. So that's coming down. Peronino. Oh, that's a disconnect. That's your good old-fashioned disconnect there. As it sends the camera absolutely bananas. Because the server suddenly doesn't know where they are. So, oh no. First of our GTUs have fallen. Now that car can rejoin the race if they're able to either change the driver or Ricardo is able to reappear. Whoa! That was a bit wayward there, Mr. Bins, as he's caught the back of Peter Vagapov in the Unison Racing DPI car. And just ahead, that's Cameron Roger, actually, just ahead of Peter Vagapov. Now, nothing stops the DPI and LMP cars racing each other, or either of the GT categories, or any combination thereafter. But the championship is decided on their class positions, not race positions. As we just saw a bit of dust being kicked up there by Cameron Roger. Now, for those that didn't catch what we were saying before, or didn't see us in qualifying, the DPI cars certainly have a bit of a pace advantage in sectors 1 and 3. Whoa! As Cameron Roger really does go off. That is Cameron Roger in the picture-in-picture. In the team colours. As Vagapov then just works his way past Cameron Roger. But it's in this... Oh, my goodness me! The Unison car all over the place. So he's trying to slow down for the S's there. Now, the LMP2 cars have about half a second or more advantage in Sector 2, which is basically this section here. The power of the DPI just cannot be deployed. And the LMP2s are much, much quicker than the DPIs through that section, but it's in the rest of the lap where the DPIs can get all the horses galloping. That evens out the lap time all in all. Here comes Peter Vagapov again, so he did manage to keep the car on the road just about. There's the GTE leader, the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. That's getting a bit close. As Jansen Bintz gets very up close and personal. The DIS Porsche just needs to hold its line. It needs to stay predictable, and there we go. There's now the two lead LMP2 cars are together. It's unfortunate timing there for the Porsche to be involved in that particular battle, but the DIS car did absolutely the right thing as someone's kicked up a bit more dust on the exit of the Descida de Lago. As Michael Pedersen briefly caused a bit of a yellow flag there, but that disappeared very quickly. Now Jansen Bintz is getting very, very close to the back of Peter Vagapov again, as Cameron Roger got back ahead of the Unison number 17. And even though they're in different classes, if someone was being lapped, then yes, you do have to think about the fact that they're a lap ahead of you. But nothing actually stops. Like, Jansen, it would be challenging Cameron for on-track race position. That would be second overall. Even though they're in different classes, nothing actually stops you racing that other class. And there you go. Look at the advantage that DPI now has. As now all the horses get galloping, and wow! Now from there, it did look like they came to grief. Did Vagapov and Cameron Roger there? That was either an impact or very close to impact, but Cameron Roger definitely lost some momentum and probably needed some new trousers at that point, because goodness me, that was close. That was going to bring Jansen Bintz right involved. But, of course, now we're getting into the point of the lap where the LMPs have the advantage. So coming through the Descida de Lago up towards the Ferradura into Larangina, and this is where the DPI advantage stops. And the LMPs can now start to gain an advantage, but that's not gone well for Cameron Roger. Jansen Bins could well have tried to force his way through on the inside line, but opted not to. As the picture-in-picture, that's the GT3 car, Callum Wilson in the 404 Clan Racing car, with Nikolai Bedrikov in the 717 GTE car right behind. So it's exactly the same situation there that we're looking at here. Two different classes having an argument for the same bit of tarmac, although this time it does look like the Vagapov has stayed ahead of the LMP2 cars. But Jansen Bins is really looking to take the LMP2 lead from Burst at the moment for Juices Motorsport. Now, what is Callum going to do? Callum could, strictly speaking, defend and make Bezrikov work for it, but he's probably more wise to that. He doesn't need to. It's not going to gain him anything. It's only going to lose him time. And Callum Wilson would prefer to use the slipstream from Bezrikov to help him close in on Alexander Sesha in the Azatec car. But the LMP battle continues, and Bintz might now just stay in the tyre tracks of Cameron Roger just to save a bit of fuel, maybe keep the tyres a little bit more in check. And there is the that's the exact battle we've just been talking about. So the two duos are now right together. Oh, this could get a little bit complicated. No, the GT cars are wise to that. They let the LMP and DPI cars through. They do let the DPI car through because, of course, Peter Vagapov is just ahead of them. So the GT car's nicely done. And no one came to grief. All four classes represented almost in one camera shot there. Oh, listen, Jansen Bintz. Oh, is he going to have a move here? No, he's forcing the outside line coming through Mugello, but does not get it done, though. As now, there's the Azatec car. That's the GT3 leader that Bedrikov and Wilson are wanting to get up close and personal with. Well, certainly Wilson does. Bedrikov just wants to get past him. Here comes the two LMP cars again. Yeah, nicely done. Zesha staying to the outside line, letting the LMP cars come through. And Bintz is a bit too far back to try and make a move on the LMP lead. Bouncing over the curves, coming down through curve one, turn one, now into the center S's. The longer into the race they get, the more I'm going to trip over my own words. The warning has now been served. But Vagapov doesn't seem to break away by too much of a difference there. Oh, that's very wide for Cameron Roger. Oh, side by side now coming up to the Ferradura. Can Jansen Bins do anything about it? He's still going to be forced to the outside line as they come up to the S's. Oh, Cameron Roger can't outbrake him, but still holds the inside line. Now the advantage is going to go to Bins, but no! Cameron Roger does manage to keep his head and the position. Well defended there for the 94 car to hang on to the LMP lead. Oh, bit of a slide there coming into the Bica de Pato. My goodness me, that was fantastic from our LMP leaders. The grid may be a bit smaller, but like I said earlier, the racing is just as amazing from our competitors. Fantastic stuff. Is Jansen Bins going to do anything this time around? Juices versus Burst has been this way all event long, really. And this is allowing Nakib Aslan to destroy the gap between themselves and, of course, the number 21, who's lapping. Well, put it this way. The two cars we're looking at are in the 22s. Here's a replay again of that move. So briefly, Bins does get up into the class lead, but then Cameron Roger just nails it on the run down towards Peronino. Brilliant stuff. And Bins, I don't think Bins quite anticipated that defense from Cameron Roger, but well driven from both of them. But like I was saying, Nikib Aslan is decimating the gap between himself and these two. And of course, this is class lead. Yes, I know there's only three of them, but that doesn't really matter. Oh, can Jansen Bins box in? Oh, he did as well. He used the back marker to box in Cameron Roger. Oh, Cameron gives a bit of a smile to that one as well. That was excellently timed from Jansen Bins, utilising the back of the back marker to box in. It wasn't Pedersen. It was Angle Benegas, I think. Oh no, I think it was Michael Penton. Either way, it was the one of the Aston Martins to box in and to box Cameron Roger in so that he had nowhere to go. Oh, what a fantastic move from the Deuces number 15, and takes the lead of the class. And that's actually allowed Nakib Aslan to be within 10 seconds of Cameron Roger now. So that gap has absolutely disappeared. Here it is again from a brilliant drone camera. So the GTE car is doing absolutely everything right, and Bint perfectly positions himself so that Cameron Roger just couldn't quite muscle his way past without risking spinning Janssen Bint. Absolutely superb. Great camera placement there, production. Love that one. That perfectly highlighted exactly how that move came about. It's great stuff. Callum Wilson is behind Bezrikov now. We did see that move a little while ago, but Bezrikov's not been able to run off into the distance, and indeed the Audi is within a few thousandths of matching, well, he is matching the pace of the GTE car to within a few thousandths. So, you know, Bezrikov is not quite able to match the earlier pace of the 717 car, and the Audi is able just to stay in the tyre tracks and keep right with it. Wow, great racing from the LMP cars, and Callum Wilson doing a good job just staying with Bezrikov, but Zesha is still the fastest of our GT3 competitors. The only man in the 31s at the moment, again bearing in mind that they are quite heavy at the moment, there is Vagapov. So the Unison Racing number 17 in for another pit stop. And there was a brief yellow in sector 3 there, but I didn't see who that was. And that's the gap now at the top of the LMP2s. And there is Cameron Roger. Again, he would have to concede that was a pretty good move from Janssen Bint, as Cameron runs a little bit wide and kicks up the dust on the exit of the Desida de Largo. And so he got to a point where he could not defend that any further. Absolutely awesome stuff. That's taken us almost to the top of the second hour here at 12 hours of Interlagos. Wonderful stuff there. Time's just ticking by very, very nicely indeed. There's still plenty of time for things to change. Of course, we will be going into the darkness before the race falls on. Here it is again. So you can see on board with Cameron Roger as he's behind. Well, this is actually a bit earlier on. So this is quite earlier on in the hour. So this will be, again, the Deuces and Burst still arguing aimless for the class lead, but like I said, you know, Nakib Aslan is really homing in on them quick, and Nakib Aslan is still the quickest car out there. Well, big pardon, last time around he was Bids, but Aslan has been really flying. He's now only 5 seconds behind Cameron Roger, and you can see in the highlights picture there just where the Burst car was just piling the pressure on the Juicy's car, and that's where he first tried to make the move, but couldn't quite get it to stick. But we've just witnessed how that changed around again. There's where's Scovron then? There we go, on the inside line. That's where the Burst car took the class lead, as now Cameron Roger is just catching up to the other Juice's car, the GTE car that now leads the class, the number 74, Juha Maki Dalpi. In lead are the GTEs. That's where we were looking at Alex Zesha in the highlights reel there, who leads class by, that's about 5-ish seconds, give or take, as Callum Wilson doing what he can to try and close in. I actually took nearly a second out of Alex Zesha last time around. And as you can see in the highlights reel, that's where we were looking at Cameron Roger. As that's when they were dancing with Peter Vagapov as well. The three cars caught the DIS car. And then soon after that was when the Deuces car decided he'd had enough of being the tail of that particular trio. Peter Vagapov is... Peter Vagapov is no longer in the car. That's the Unison car is now in the hands of Artin Shualev. So That the number 17 has changed hands. See if that helps their pace. As they've been a little bit off the back of the burst car, which is again nothing to be too upset about, with the likes of Michi Hoyer and Jesper Pedersen, some of the best in the business. And yeah, look at the highlights moment where you had 4 cars all very, very close together. Then you had that side-by-side moment initially between Cameron Roger and Jansen Bins. That eventually went the way of... Well, that's where it went back to Cameron. And then the next highlight reel is going to be where Bins boxed in Cameron, I'd have thought. Car number 15 has now earned the race control warning. Oh, that is Jansen Bins. So he doesn't want to drop himself 10 seconds by earning the Stockholm penalty. And then you've got the move that sealed the lead, class lead for Jansen Bins. That's a fantastic one. I'm going to enjoy that highlights moment for quite some time. But he's just earned the ire of race control. He's now been warned about track limits. So bearing in mind that serious wanderings off the road will be handled by the server itself, but race control do monitor when cars go all 4 wheels outside the white line, and if it happens too regularly, a warning is issued, and then a drive-through, and then a 10-second stop go, 30-second stop go, and 60-second stop go, and then each subsequent penalty is another 60-second penalty. So race control will get involved if they absolutely have to. We do like the racing to, flow and be natural, but we do need to make sure the rules are observed. Now look at Nakib Aslan, less than 1.5 seconds behind Cameron Roger. There they are. My goodness me, that 79 Asso car has been flying for lap after lap after lap. Following their drive-through, Nakib Aslan has been has had the heaviest right foot in quite a while. He was only slower than Jansen Bins by 0.004 of a second the last time around, and he gains another 0.6 on Cameron Roger. So Cameron doesn't quite have the pace of his teammates at the moment, but that can easily change, and bursts of some of the very best drivers out there. So Cameron is still doing a very, very good job out there. All of our drivers, top to bottom, are doing a fantastic job. I couldn't keep anywhere near the kind of pace they are doing for as long as they are doing it for. I'm also glad to say, I had noticed this earlier, but I hadn't got around to mentioning it, but the number 53 car, Ricardo Pera, who had that disconnect, is back with us. So here we are again. We are the top of the hour, and we've got another battle going on. And again, Cameron Roger is boxed in behind the Ernesto Pescara car. My goodness me. Oh, not again, not again. Oh, no, it's this time Aslan that got caught behind the back marker. Well, there is the returning number 53, as just mentioned. So Ricardo Pera did get back in the session, but Nakib Aslan has really hustled for that second place. So Cameron Roger is under a lot of pressure again and could well drop to the back of the LMP2 field. Wow, he's not going to go from that far back. Goodness me. That's, you can see just by the body language of the car, he is wringing the neck of that thing. Oh my goodness me, hugging the inside line of the exit of the Senna S's. Struth, you could see that Cameron Roger tried to shut the door, but he couldn't do it. Nakib Aslan was already alongside, and that is second place to the 79 Asso car, and straight away being counter-attacked by the burst car. Now, Cameron Roger was able to reclaim that position he lost earlier on, but not this time. Nakib Aslan stays to the inside line of Larangina and claims that second place. But that car is very, very squiggly. It might be fast, but it looks really, really loose. So that could come a cropper a little bit later on. Struth alive. So Cameron Roger wasn't able to keep Nakib Aslan back behind him as long as he did Jansen Bins. But as I say, we're now at the top of the second hour. 2 hours done, 10 to go. That's double word from our commercial sponsors.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the digital snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry, NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.